What's up, everybody? Mini Me was absolutely right. I had to run to the liquor store. I am not in my house. There was no liquor. And with this news, I needed a drink. So if y'all want to know who my Valentine's Day is this. It's this. I don't even know what to make of this. So like the videos, the intro plays, we got a lot to get into. Happy Valentine's Day, y'all.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
One, please. When you reach out to me, make it make common sense, please.
Do your intro.
Make it make sense.
Big moves. Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Do you know how this fire started?
Yes, I do. It was because of my cousin. And I don't want to mention no names.
Your cousin.
Yes.
And you say you think your cousin started this. Do you know how or why?
He's mad because he can't get with me. I'm married to my husband. And
Okay, so we're going to get right into the Jay-Z stuff. This was not supposed to be what we were doing today, but this is where we're at. And we've been following this pretty closely, and we got to talk about it. I know y'all are going to be all over the place. I know I have Jay-Z supporters. I know I have Jay-Z haters. I know I have people who are here to support victims. It's a mix of everybody here. But we got to... This was filed today. It says Jane Doe against all these people: Sean Combs, Bad Boy, Jay-Z, everybody. Pursuant to Rule 41 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, plaintiff Jane Doe, by and through her undersigned counsel, hereby gives notice that the above captioned action is voluntarily dismissed with prejudice. Counsel for plaintiff have discussed this matter with counsel for each defendant who acknowledge and consent to the submission. I want to hear from you guys first. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe Jane Doe. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe that Jay-Z was innocent. Let's start there. You guys, at this point, okay, so we got a lot of 2s. At this point, you guys know when a case is dismissed with prejudice, it means that the case cannot be brought against the person again. So Jane Doe can never sue Jay-Z again for this specific crime. It does not say that they settled. It says it was voluntarily dismissed with prejudice. Okay, we got a fair number of 1s. And then the 2s came in. Okay, it's looking like half and half. Angela thinks it's a silent payoff. I don't know how to be anything other than a straight shooter. I am a big proponent for victims coming forward, being able to tell their story. However, when this particular victim went on, was it like NBC, and the dates were off, I was like, okay, sometimes things can be fuzzy. But for me, when her father said that he could not recall driving 5 hours to pick her up after she had been assaulted, that was a red flag for me. I had a lot of arguments and a lot of fights behind the scenes with some of the victims that I now regularly communicate with. And they felt like I was doing a disservice because I said, I don't know what Busby's doing. I know things can get kind of sloppy, but when he came back and he said for this particular case that he did not actually vet them himself, it was vetted through another counsel, that was a red flag for me. Her dad not being able to recall, it was legal jargon, but it was like, why would Busby allow his client to even go on NBC? So this case has been a cluster F. I don't know how to sugarcoat this, and I'm not going to. I have heard other things about Jay-Z. However, as it applies to right now in that particular case, the dad being her only witness that was alive, I felt like the case may or may not make it to trial. It's important to say that not all victims are going to have evidence. That's absolutely true. But I never felt right about this one young girl or woman at this point going on NBC. It was like, what would be the point of you doing that? And I also I felt like Busby naming Jay-Z after Jay-Z sued him was retaliatory. So I don't know. When I went to Busby's Instagram account, this ninja is talking about his new, I guess he has a rodent. I don't know what this is. I'm sure it's some exotic animal, and I guess he has a ranch. This is what Busby's doing. He does not really give a damn. I'm sorry. You couldn't see. He does not really seem to care. He is a part of a billionaire family. He did file multiple lawsuits against Diddy today, but I don't know. If you've been following my channel, we've been reviewing anybody who had claims against Jay-Z, all but one person. That person never really made it to my channel, and I do not want you to put that person's name in the chat. If you know, you know. But we can talk about Lamisha and, some of the claims that Adria made. We have reached a point where there are some people who are so engrossed in this in the world that they feel like they were a part of. I don't know that this young lady was it. I can only say in this situation, Jay-Z he's not going to be sued by her again. Doesn't mean that there could not be additional lawsuits. It just means that he's not being sued by her. And then to add more injury to Busby, they filed, let me show you. We can read his response. On this channel, we're fair. Let me see. Jay-Z is speaking out after the lawsuit against him and Diddy, where they were accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl in 2000, has been dismissed by the attorney representing the Jane Doe, according to a court filing made on Friday in New York. Variety reports that attorneys Busby and Antoine Kurz filed the voluntary dismissal. As we reported, the attorneys claim Jane Doe, who accused the musicians of assault, hereby gives notice that the above captioned action is voluntarily dismissed with prejudice. Now, this is Jay-Z's statement. The frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations have been dismissed, Jay-Z wrote in a statement. This civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale that they created was laughable, if not for the seriousness of the claims. I would not wish this experience on anyone. Let me see. The trauma that my wife, my children, and loved ones have endured can never be dismissed. This 1-800 lawyer gets to file a suit hiding behind Jane Doe, and when they quickly realize that the money grab is going to fail, they get to walk away with no repercussions. The system has failed. The court must protect victims, of course, while the same ethical responsibility, the courts must protect the innocent from being accused without a shred of evidence. May the truth prevail for all victims and those falsely accused equally. Busby said that he was going to fight this till the very end. Angela says, I don't wish to take anyone down, especially a black man that's worked hard for nothing, but something don't smell right with Jay-Z. I'm limited in what I can say, but there are whispers. But those whispers may not ever actually manifest. This one is over. Melissa, they can't refile it. It's with prejudice. I did not think it would end this way. Could Jay-Z have potentially cut a check? I don't know. I'm not going to, feed that machine. I really don't know. I can tell you that they filed a whole bunch of other shit in the Busby case. In the Busby versus Jay-Z lawsuit. Let me see. We're not going to go through all of it, but the amended complaint alleges, and there's no dispute, that right after Sean Combs was charged with drugging and R-wording men, women, and children who attended his parties, Busby launched a nationwide publicity campaign to attract Combs victims as his clients. Busby claimed that other high-profile entertainers had participated in Combs' criminal acts and threatened to expose and pursue criminal proceedings against them. To that end, Busby sent demand letters to Mr. Carter on behalf of two individuals who claimed that Mr. Carter had participated in Combs' criminal enterprise. Busby threatened to publicly pursue Mr. Carter if he did not agree to provide something of substance to compensate his clients. The key issue raised by Busby's motion is whether he can wrap himself in California's litigation privilege by claiming that his public and private threats to Mr. Carter were lawful acts of aid of potential litigation. Now, that's some lawyer BS jargon. Basically, he's saying that whenever they sent demand letters to Jay-Z, it was not legal. It was definitely just a threat. Now, that's not true. That's not the way the system works. If something goes down, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to send a demand letter before you go into litigation to see if the person wants to settle. Typically what happens is the attorneys will say, see you in court, or I'm not buying it. In this situation, Jay-Z's attorneys just decided to sue. Where Busby crossed the line and what sets this case apart from most pre-litigation threats, and the case on which he principally relies, blah, 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 is that he not only threatened civil litigations of Mr. Carter, he did not pay his clients, but criminal proceedings and a public spectacle as well. That renders his conduct extortion as a matter of law and bars him from invoking the anti-SLAPP salute, meaning typically when you're suing somebody, they can't sue you. So he's saying that that does not apply here. Let me see, blah, blah, blah. Busby's defense is that he threatened criminal proceedings only in his public statements and did not repeat them in his demand letters to Mr. Carter. But the law draws no such distinction. Busby's statements must be taken in their entirety, and his demand letters to Mr. Carter must be read in context. To hold otherwise will reward clever extortionists. As Mr. Combs' defamation claim, it admittedly concerns matters of First Amendment speech, but Mr. Carter presents evidence here sufficient to meet his burden on the elements of that claim, including constitutional malice. Jesus Christ. Okay, so now that we know that this case is dismissed, and now that you know that Busby has this major lawsuit against Jay-Z, I don't even think it's a question. Jay-Z's attorneys are not going to drop this. Does what just happened add value to Jay-Z's lawsuit against Busby? Defendants publicly threatened criminal prosecutions. Throughout September and October of 2024, Busby laid the groundwork for the extortion demands. On September 27, he boasted on Instagram that his law firm represented 120 people who had been abused by Combs and his cohorts, stating that many other individuals will be implicated. 2 days later, Busby announced a press conference relating blah, 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 blah. Let's get to what he did with Jay-Z. In October, Busby began to represent Jane Doe, for whom he would later file an action in New York, accusing Mr. Carter of the R word. In public appearances, Busby intensified his threats of criminal prosecution. On October 2nd, on a podcast, he pledged to ferret out all the people involved who facilitated Combs' misconduct and to hold them accountable in civil and criminal cases. The next day, in a broadcast interview, Busby restated, "I expect the indictment and the charges in the indictment will grow. I expect other people will be implicated." Defendants privately threatened to expose Mr. Carter. On November 5th, defendants privately sent the extortion demands to Mr. Carter on behalf of two clients, Jane and John Doe. The letters accused him of R-wording both individuals when they were minors. The Jane Doe extortion demand made clear that Mr. Carter supposedly was the not yet identified celebrity A in the New York lawsuit. Busby warned that the only way to avoid a public spectacle was for Mr. Carter to provide his clients something of substance in a settlement. Busby also threatened to pursue Mr. Carter for supposed crimes that Busby had not even identified on behalf of persons he did not represent. It has been my experience that when someone does this to a victim once, the likelihood is that they have done the same or similar things to others. Busby's accusations are categorically false. When Mr. Carter refuses to be extorted, defendants defame him. Instead of caving to the defendant's extortion, Mr. Carter filed this lawsuit anonymously on November 18th. Busby responded by publicly tying his prior media statements to Mr. Carter. In a flurry of social media posts, Busby branded Mr. Carter as a R word. On November 18th, Busby posted on X that Jane Doe was a sexual assault survivor. The next day, Busby liked an X post suggesting that Mr. Carter was the previously unnamed celebrity A. Now, I didn't know he was doing all that. I did not know he was doing all that. In response to Mr. Carter's refusal to bend to extortion, Busby threatened on social media to public the extortion demands. Since our professional efforts at the resolution obviously have failed, we will instead disclose the demand letters. On December 8th, Busby amended the complaint in New York Action to explicitly name Mr. Carter as Celebrity A, who supposedly R-worded Jane Doe at a party in New York City. On December 10th, Busby went in even further into a statement. Busby said he's not ruling out filing R-word charges against Mr. Carter with New York authorities. Busby also said that Jay-Z R-word accuser might take the music mogul's advice and file a criminal complaint against him after slapping him with a civil suit. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This I was not expecting. I really thought when Busby said he was gonna take it all the way, that there was gonna be like more evidence produced. I assumed that the people who vetted this young lady first, and then Busby team vetted her, they might have some last minute Hail Mary where there might have been an R-word kit or a witness was to come forward. I don't know now if Busby was buffing or not. We don't need to go through all this. Blah, 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 blah. We don't need to read all that. Defendants' false statements are defamatory because they accuse Mr. Carter of committing crimes of moral turpitude. Such accusations are defamatory in their face as they expose Mr. Carter to public hatred, contempt, ridicule, and disgrace. Statements that falsely impute criminal conduct are defamation. I don't think it's looking good for Busby. Defendants defame Mr. Carter with actual malice. They're using the term reckless disregard. Now, as far as it shows, the lady is still going to be able to remain a Jane Doe. Annette says, I feel like she was taken advantage of because of her autism. Ashley says, now for him to file this means he had legitimate proof acceptable to be filed. Autism Academy says that that girl that they had on TV is not the real victim. I don't know, y'all. Miss Shorty, I think you might have to fight DB. I saw in the comment earlier, she asked me. I can tell you this. I don't know what they put in this, but it's pretty strong. Let me see. Let me text and see if I'm gonna text the attorney and see if they could have settled. Let's see. With prejudice, is it possible that it was settled? Let's see. Everybody else might be on a Valentine's Day date. So, okay, I see a lot of people feeling like maybe money was exchanged. We'll see if the attorney, let me see if I can call. I feel like everybody's on a Valentine's Day date except for us. Let me see. Okay. Hold on. I'm on live. Before you start talking. Yeah. Before you start talking. Okay. So I'm about to put you on speakerphone. Okay. So, okay, here we go, y'all. Y'all are getting some behind the scenes. Now, this is Simone. Okay, Simone, now you've heard that the case with Jay-Z and the 13-year-old Jane Doe has been dismissed with prejudice, right?
Okay, I knew it was dismissed. I wasn't sure if it was with or without prejudice.
Okay, so it's been dismissed with prejudice.
I told you.
Is it possible that maybe a settlement was done?
Sure is. Yes, it is.
It's possible.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like a settlement was done in this particular situation?
I need more information. And here's what I'll say this. Here's what we need to look for. If after this happens, if Jay-Z starts fighting really hard, we see new motions, sanctions motions regarding him suing Tony Busby, then it was dropped because Busby agrees his client was nutty and lying.
So we just read, or we were reading through a new 22-page filing from Jay-Z.
Yep.
In the lawsuit in LA like the Jay-Z suing Busby. Sorry, I got this Class A as well.
You're right.
I've been drinking.
Watermelon.
Okay, so yeah, they just filed something in court, and it's plaintiff's opposition to defendant's special motion to strike anti-SLAPP filed pursuant to California Code Civil Procedure.
Yep. Okay.
So
say it again.
They filed plaintiff's opposition to defendant's special motion to strike anti-SLAPP filed pursuant to California Code.
Okay.
So
so that's their so basically that means Busby is trying to get Jay-Z's defamation lawsuit dismissed, claiming, hey, I'm a lawyer, there's immunity for me, but not only that, this is a matter of public concern, so you cannot silence me. So that was Busby's motion. This is Jay-Z's response to that motion.
Are you feeling good about Busby?
No. Not with respect to this girl's case. Maybe some of the others are a little bit better, but not that slow lady that was on the internet stuttering and not making sense.
Okay.
Not her. But here's something also that's relevant. So I think it was February 5th, the week of February 5th, in the New York case, in the Jane Doe case, what happened was Jay-Z had filed a motion for sanctions. Well, under New York law, you can't do a sanction, and it was sanctions because Busby should have never brought the case, was the gist of it. You can't do that unless you first show that you tried to negotiate with Busby to get him to drop the suit first. He didn't do that beforehand. So basically he filed the motion, and I think he dismissed the motion, attempted to settle it with Busby. What I'm saying is what we're seeing, the dismissal of this case, could be the result of New York mandating y'all try to work it out before the sanctions motion. Because what happens is if Jay-Z has to basically present some evidence to Busby saying, look, these are all the ways this chick lies. And if Busby dismisses it, then Busby don't have to pay Jay-Z nothing for having a fraudulent case. If Busby does not, then Jay-Z could pursue millions in sanctions against Busby, which is what he was gonna do.
But Jay-Z is definitely not going to drop his case in LA against Busby.
He doesn't have to. That's a different state. That's
no,
a different
I'm just
set of
saying.
rules.
I'm just saying, if I'm Jay-Z and I just basically have this very public victory, then I'm going to speed forward on my case in LA. I'm going to speed forward and go after as much as I can.
Now, what he might do is he might dismiss it if...
You think Jay-Z is going to dismiss his case in LA?
Well, no. Sir.
This is what we do, y'all. This is what we do. People are in the chat saying, hey, legal bestie.
Hey, boos. How y'all doing? No, so here's what it is. Under the type of motion that Busby filed against Jay-Z, if it's really easy for Busby to prevail, and Busby can prevail even if Busby was lying because of the strength of the immunity for lawyers. Okay, there's an immunity for lawyers because they don't want every time you sue a rich person for the rich person to just come back and sue you for defamation. So there's a really strong, the law is actually very much in Busby's favor because of the type of dismissal he has up there. And if he wins that dismissal, Jay-Z has to pay, it's not optional, has to pay his lawyer's fees, right? And damages and sanctions and damages to his reputation. So I say that to say, that could be an incentive for Jay-Z to be like, hey, y'all dropped the Jane Doe suit, so I'll drop this suit. Not necessarily, but just there is a risk that Jay-Z will actually have to end up paying Busby, even if Busby was lying.
Okay.
Because of immunity.
I feel like Jay-Z's attorneys came out swinging. They had a very, very aggressive approach from the very beginning, especially requesting that this be done as expeditiously as possible. Like they were really trying the judge in New York. But in terms of his lawsuit against Busby now, I think that this is now ego, and he's going to try he is going to try to destroy Busby as much as possible.
Agree. Oh, he's going to file stuff with the bar against Busby. He's going to try to get Busby's license suspended or revoked, at least in some of the states.
I think he can only practice. I think he can only practice in Texas and New York.
Right, but okay, so he might try and get his license revoked for New York. Because that's where that other case was brought. Or his ability to co-counsel. I don't know if he's pro hoc VJ or if he actually waived into New York. I can't remember.
What I hate. What's really funny is that y'all are tuned into this is like a group chat.
It is. And y'all, like, me and Mims, we be talking like this, like we talk about this regularly about what's the cases.
What I hate though in this situation is the way this was handled. If the young lady has autism, I don't think she was protected. I don't know.
No, not at all.
I don't know who set up I don't know if it was ABC or NBC interview, but she was not prepared for it. I feel like they did not vet her appropriately, and I feel like she was kind of thrown to the wolves. I hate this.
Yeah, and if you read the papers, Busby really was putting the blame on the other law firm, like the other law firm, the law firm that starts with an A.
When he did his personal statement, he did that. He put that on them. But then when he actually filed, when he filed the document, he said that he vetted them. So it was like two different stories. One story in the press was that it wasn't me.
You're right.
But when he filed the document, he clearly said that they vetted her multiple times. Then his trusted employees vetted her, and then he spoke to her. This young lady was not protected. I do believe she has autism.
I agree.
I don't think that.
Oh yes, she got something going on.
Yeah, I feel bad, but
that's his responsibility. Him and any of his co-counsel were literally hired to protect her, and they failed her. Because a conversation with that girl could let you know she can't walk to the mailbox by herself. She might not make it home.
I know she's going to remain a Jane Doe.
She should. That's a good idea.
I definitely think she's going to remain a Jane Doe. I don't know what life is like for her right now, though.
I know she's struggling over in that trailer. Is it Alabama or Mississippi? Whatever.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Have you been drinking?
Bad. Watermelon.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
It's Valentine's Day.
Okay, I'm spending Valentine's with the straight shooters and this bottle of Class A Azul.
I know, that's right. Yeah, I was spending it with the jury while doing the ASAP Rocky trial earlier today. Check that out, y'all. But
Simone is Girl Is That Legal on YouTube.
Thank you.
She's a YouTube friend and a real friend in real life, so definitely check her out.
Yeah, yeah. But thanks for giving me a call. I hope that made sense to your audience. But yeah, I think that dismissal was to save the Busby firm from having to owe Jay-Z billions because of the New York law that says once one law firm comes to another and says, hey, you should have not have brought in this case, here are the facts and the reasons why. If you don't dismiss it, then the law firm, can be on the hook for millions.
We're gonna see. All right. Thank you, Simone. Happy Valentine's Day. All right. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye. Now I already know I can't get the other lawyer. I know I can't get the other lawyer on the line because he's married. I don't know. It's not. There are very few times in these situations where I am honestly surprised. This is definitely one of them. Not that I did feel like she was going to have to come with more evidence, especially after her father, who was her witness, said that he didn't recall, but I was not expecting this at all. Let's see if we can get to the Rock Nation site where that was posted. It says there's no comments. So I don't know if comments were turned off. I guess they turned comments off. That's all she wrote for this one. Again, I've heard rumblings, but we'll see if anything comes to fruition on that. Guys, we have that's where we should be. Nothing should surprise me anymore, Karen. You're right. You're right. Oh, the Fantasy says comments were turned off. Guys, we got over 1,700 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. We're going to do some Valentine's Day foolishness after review a couple of these lawsuits. So whereas Jay-Z's lawsuit was dismissed, Busby went through and filed 4 new lawsuits against Diddy. I'm concerned that what happens in this Jay-Z lawsuit will shift blame to either new victims who file or, kind of aid Diddy in his defense. I hope that that's not the case. But let's get into this. And then we'll get into some foolishness for Valentine's Day. And maybe I'll open up the phone lines. If we're here together, we're here together. And there's no right or wrong answers. This is not the channel for that. I allow y'all to feel how y'all feel. Say what you want. as long as you do it, as respectfully as possible to one another. I know y'all aren't going to agree because y'all don't agree with me, and I'm okay with it. But let's see. This one is a Diddy lawsuit. How will Diddy be helped by this? Okay, so public perception plays a major role in these lawsuits. And people can say what they want, but I'm of the belief that they're going to need to find a jury pool in the state of New York. And if the majority of the people in the state of New York feel he's guilty, he's going to be going down. But he only needs one person on the jury to say, I don't think this is right. And it could go the other direction. So, this is a new case against Diddy. It says in 2006, John Doe, a 21-year-old male, was looking for modeling opportunities in New York City. He responded to an online advertisement seeking hip-hop models. He provided his name, contact information, and a number of photographs. Days later, an individual from Bad Boy Records contacted him via email, inviting him to the corporate office in New York City for a tryout. This is the first time Doe was made aware that modeling opportunity would be for Bad Boy Records. Doe traveled from New Jersey to New York City by train the following week for his tryout. Upon arrival at the Bad Boy office in Manhattan, security escorted him to a designated floor. He walked down a hallway and entered a waiting area with other male models. Most of the models are either African American or white. Doe noticed he was the only Indian model present. Doe was instructed to sign his name on his sign-in sheet and to sit down and wait to be called to another room one by one. After waiting, Doe soon heard his name. Security led him to a separate room where Combs was sitting there. 2 security guards were stationed at the door along with another Combs associate. Combs introduced himself to Doe and was asked about his name, age, and modeling background. Combs shifted the discussion to Doe's appearance. He instructed him to stand up so he could check him out. Moments later, Combs told Doe to undress and take off all his clothes. Doe immediately felt uncomfortable and refused. Combs persisted, asking what he was willing to do in a music video and to be successful. Combs continued pressuring Doe, telling him that it was rare that an Indian male model found any success in the industry and would need Combs' help to go anywhere in the business. Combs again demanded Doe take off his clothes. Doe refused once more. Combs then noticeably became angry and aggressive. He stood up and moved close to Doe, standing right in front of his face. Without warning, Combs aggressively grabbed and firmly groped Doe's buttocks and whispered in his ear, saying, "Get me when you change your mind." Doe pulled away and left the room immediately. Security walked Doe out of the building. He left deeply disturbed by the experience. As a result of his actions, Doe experienced mental anguish, humiliation, and emotional distress. Let me see. Okay, I think this is a Jane Doe. On or around November 1st, 2016, plaintiff traveled to Los Angeles, California to celebrate her 20th birthday. Plaintiff stayed at the Hollywood Inn Suites Hotel, a hotel she regularly stayed at when visiting Los Angeles. On the night of the incident, plaintiff visited several clubs, including Playhouse. While at Club Playhouse, Combs approached plaintiff with several of his associates nearby. Initially, plaintiff felt excited and flattered by the encounter, but her feelings quickly changed due to Combs' arrogant and entitled behavior. When plaintiff declined a drink offered by Combs, Combs responded with hostility, saying, "Bitch, I ain't asking you. Drink the shit and shut the F up." Okay. Frightened, plaintiff felt compelled to drink the beverage after he forcefully slid the glass toward her. Combs placed his right arm around plaintiff in a side hug and shoved his left hand up her skirt, forcibly penetrating her with his fingers while telling plaintiff, "B, I do what I want. Take that shit." Throughout this assault, plaintiff could hear Combs' associates laughing in the background. Plaintiff attempted to push Combs off her, but Combs merely laughed, appearing amused by her distress. Eventually, Combs released plaintiff, allowing her to leave. Plaintiff began to feel disoriented and fearful that Combs or his associates might follow her. Plaintiff quickly exited the club and called a cab. By the time plaintiff reached her hotel, her disorientation had greatly intensified. She felt dizzy, lightheaded, and unable to stand without support. Hotel staff had to assist plaintiff in getting her room. Plaintiff woke up the next morning horrified to find bruising and a tear in and around her genitals, likely resulting from the assault. She suffered physical injuries and severe mental anguish. Okay, no, this was the documentary one. Okay. In or around 1999, the plaintiff, a 23-year-old model and promotional employee for radio station, attended a VIP party hosted by Combs in New York City. At the event, another guest introduced her to Combs, who talked to plaintiff about her work while the two had a few drinks. As the evening grew later, plaintiff told Combs that she needed to leave to catch a train to avoid getting stranded. Combs invited her to stay at his residence, pursuing her to have him one more drink. He then handed her a drink, some of which plaintiff drank. Combs ultimately convinced plaintiff to stay at his place by assuring her that no inappropriate conduct would occur and that she could leave in the morning. Plaintiff told Combs that she was married and she would not fool around. Plaintiff left with Combs in a car and soon began to realize that something was wrong. She began experiencing extreme drowsiness and felt it difficult to remain upright. She suspected she had been drugged and tried to stay alert. During the drive, plaintiff noticed several pieces of mail on the floor of the vehicle. In an effort to protect herself, she texted the address on the mail to her husband, notifying him of where she was staying. The driver noticed this and tried to remove the mail from plaintiff's view. Plaintiff informed the driver that she had texted someone the address where she would be staying. Upon arrival, Combs helped plaintiff. That is a piece of evidence. If she still has that text message thread where she texted her husband where she was going and whatever he responded to her, that is definitely a piece of evidence. The blah, 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 blah. Upon arrival, Combs helped plaintiff, who was impaired and physically unsteady, into his residence. At first, Combs was friendly and well-mannered. That changed completely once the two were alone. Combs tried to give plaintiff more alcohol, but she declined, saying that she just wanted to sleep. Feeling more fatigued than ever, plaintiff allowed Combs to help her to bed. She tried to keep her clothes on as a protective measure, but Combs insisted, verbally as well as physically, that she at least remove her shoes. Once plaintiff was in bed, Combs became aggressive with unwanted physical advances, trying to take off plaintiff's clothing and pressuring her to engage in sexual activity. Plaintiff clearly and repeatedly refused, reminding Combs that she was married and did not wish to engage in any sexual conduct. Combs became visibly angry at her refusal and continued his aggressive behavior, trying to remove her clothing himself over her objections. Plaintiff told Combs that she had texted her husband the address where she was staying, hoping this information would stop Combs. While this temporarily slowed Combs, he kept groping her and resumed his attempts to initiate sexual acts. For approximately the next 4 hours, Combs subjected plaintiff to continuous unwanted touching and groping of her top and bottom, going so far as to go inside of her with his fingers as she desperately tried to fend off his advances. Eventually, as the effects of whatever drug she had ingested began to wear off, plaintiff gained enough strength to insist on leaving Combs' residence and angrily demanded that he call her a cab. Still feeling the lingering effects of the substance, plaintiff quickly left the residence, emotionally shaken and physically impaired, shocked by what had transpired. Combs' actions to cause significant emotional distress and trauma to the plaintiff. Now, if she has those text messages and potentially she was honest with her husband about what happened and she talked to a therapist about it, he really might be in trouble with this one. Now, this one is going to be a little jarring because it involves somebody who was allegedly already a victim of sex trafficking at a young age. So definitely a trigger warning for this. Plaintiff Doe was sold into the world of sex trafficking at the age of 12. For the next 5 long years, she remained under the strict control of various sex traffickers and pimps who transported Doe and other girls around the country for the sexual gratification of men willing to pay. Doe was frequently kept under the influence of a large amount of drugs in order to ensure her compliance and inability to escape. In or around 2020, when Doe was 15 years old, her trafficker, known to Doe only by the nickname he used around herself and the girls, took Doe and one or more of the other girls to Miami, Florida. In fact, let me do this because I see you guys have a lot of thoughts. I rarely drop the link anymore. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. Anybody can click it, but it's going to be quick. We can't filibuster. But I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say because we have been following this and everybody is let me see if that link actually works. I might have to send it. I might have to do the link from here. Okay, no, the link works. So yeah, anybody can click it. Watch your language, please. And there's no right or wrong answers. How you guys feel is how you guys feel. In around 2020, when Doe was 15 years old, her trafficker, known to Doe only by the nickname he used around herself and other girls, took Doe and one or more other girls to Miami, Florida. In Miami, plaintiff was taken to a large building, similar to a warehouse. The host, whom Doe eventually learned was defendant Combs, was hosting a large party in the building. It quickly became apparent that the purpose of the party was sex. Defendant Combs had arranged and paid for Doe and other girls being trafficked through numerous pimps to be brought to the party. At the party, Combs made them available for sex. Doe recalls that Combs made an announcement to his guests and then made a toast to the party. Doe, who had been given drugs for this event to keep her controlled and somewhat sedated, was taken to a curtained-off area with red and dark blue or black lights, containing a bed in the middle. Over the next several hours, Doe was forced to have sex with approximately 20 different men, all guests of Sean Combs, one after another. The curtained area in which Doe was confined was next to another curtained-off area with another bed, which Doe could see through the curtains. Doe saw Combs having sex with a Latina girl whom Doe estimated to be 12 or 13 years old, who had been in the same traffic group as Doe for no more than a few weeks. Doe could not see where that girl was taken after Combs was finished with her. After he was finished having sex with the young Latina girl, Combs drank and watched others having sex, including watching the men having sex with Doe. After the party was over, Doe and the other girls were again transported to another location by the sex trafficker. Doe remained in the control of the sex traffickers for 2 more years. Doe ultimately escaped from the sex trafficking world when an undercover officer, as part of a sting operation, found her in a hotel room in Virginia and arrested the pimp who was controlling her at the time. As a result of the confinement and sexual assaults detained herein, Doe suffered severe mental and emotional damage, including post-traumatic stress disorder, among other issues. I did not really get to read that one before. I thought there was 3, but then at the last minute, I saw there was 4. So, okay. Again, we can't filibuster. I have dropped the link. Anybody's welcome to come up. You just have to click the link. And you don't have to show your face. Okay. What's up, Cali?
Hey, Mims. What's up?
Hey, happy Valentine's Day.
Sorry, I was in the car. I didn't think you would bring me up so quickly. So if you hear my blinker, sorry.
It's okay. I've heard worse in the background, so you're good. Your toilet's not flushing, so we're good.
Oh, no. I'm in the car. I'm in LA traffic. No, Mims, I love you to death, but I got to be honest. I don't believe most of this stuff.
Okay, like the Diddy stuff or the Jay-Z stuff?
Anything coming from this Busby guy. I don't know if he is a person that's just naive or if he has something else going on with him and he decided, okay, this is a scheme I can pull off. I'm on the fence as to whether or not he is in on this or if he's sort of being conned by these people that are contacting him. I'm not quite sure. But honestly, I'm on YouTube a lot. That's what I listen to during the day while I'm working. And I will say that there is, I don't know how else to describe it. It's a psychosis where people believe that celebrities are involved in things like trafficking and other horrible stuff that I don't want to say on your channel. And they truly believe that this is the only possible way this person could be a celebrity or be successful is if they're involved in these things. And it really, it's very disturbing because I almost feel like these people need to seek counseling. And then you have a lot of YouTubers that will take advantage of these people that I don't even think believe this stuff themselves. They can't even keep their own stories straight, but they will keep going and going with this because it's feeding the algorithms and they're getting clicks and views from it.
Are you talking about specifically like the Lamishas? Are you talking about the lawsuits?
There is also a psychic woman that I listened to her for about a month, and I noticed that she would contradict herself a lot. She would say things that were just having a very negative outlook on life. And she also said that the piece of information that made us all believe in her in the first place, that she guessed. And then she later said that the spirit of someone told her this. But I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you guessed. So if you actually carefully listen to some of these people, they're running game. And I'm not saying she doesn't have a gift, but you can have a gift and still be a liar to get money. Or maybe you have some biases against Black people that are coming out that you don't really want to face. So you're like masking it as though, oh no, my gift is telling me these things.
I just want to clarify this really quick. So you think that just about all of the cases that Busby has
I
brought.
don't know if I have the best internet connection over here. Damn it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to. Oh, you know why? I'm next to like a Wi-Fi tower and it's doing weird stuff. Okay, now can you hear me?
I can hear you. So you think specifically that the cases that Busby brought against Diddy are potentially cap, but you believe the other victims, or you don't believe anybody?
All of the other victims. I think there's bits and pieces of the truth, and I think that Diddy is a very hardcore substance user. And I think when you are high and out of your mind, there are things that you could have done that you didn't realize you were doing, or that you don't remember that you were doing, or you think that someone's consenting, but they've gotten so high they don't even know where they are. It's that lifestyle of doing substances, especially the type of substances he was doing. You can argue that they consented, but when you do that, are you even still in your right mind to consent? So it's like now everything is in this gray area where, yeah, I might have been getting high with you, but I wasn't trying to do that with you. But you didn't understand that I wasn't trying to do that because you was high too.
Well, no,
and
I
I
don't.
think all of this is just a mess.
I categorically do not agree. I mean, if somebody's getting high, like they're choosing to do some blow with you or smoke, something like
But
that.
that's not all.
Hold on, Cali. If I consent to do those type of drugs with you, even if I was consenting to do Molly or something like that, that is different than you putting GHB in my drink.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if that's what was happening. I'm gonna be honest. I think a lot of these people were there doing substances with him. And now at this point, how do you discern from a person who was hanging out getting high with him from a person who is now 10 years later saying, no, he slipped it to me? Like, how do you discern that?
Well, some of the people have confirmed in their lawsuit that there were bottles containing GHB given to certain guests, and him nor his sons allegedly were drinking out of those bottles. Do I think that there are people like, I need to put my allegedly.
Are you talking about Little Roy? Because Little Roy actually changed his story. If you watch that Max documentary,
you talking about Lil Rod?
Lil Rod, he actually changed his story. If you watch that Max documentary, that's not exactly what he said. He's now saying they must have been drugged. That's a big difference from what you saying that
did not. Cali, hold on.
Drug people.
Cali, hold on. That's not amended in the complaint. So I've been following these things. It's not amended in the complaint. So whatever he possibly said on the documentary, which that one wasn't even one that I watched, what matters is legally what's in the court of law. So I can see where there are some people who enjoy sexual activity with people who are under the influence. They like the sedated sex. I can't say that that's not Diddy just because he's rich or powerful.
No, I can't say that it's not, but I also can't say that it is. And from what I'm hearing a person that's leading a lifestyle of an addict. And when somebody's on something, they could be capable of anything. So
well,
what I'm saying is this.
No.
But a lot of this stuff with Busby is sounding very crazy.
Hold on one second. I want to be really clear with you. It's not just Little Rod. There are people with text message threads with Christina, his chief of staff, asking for those illicit drugs. So
Oh
there is
no,
a case.
yeah, he's definitely a substance abuse user.
No. For the illicit drugs like GHB, that is not the same.
No, people use that to get high.
I do not, in any way, shape, or form, believe that everybody who was messing with Diddy was choosing to microdose on GHB. I just don't. I don't. That's like a real stretch. I don't see like everybody doing that. Moreover, like I told you that I found out about microdosing recently, and there are some people who do that. Those people do not drink or consume anything else with it. So once you add GHB and you have an element of alcohol, all bets are off. You know what I mean? Like that's, if you were going to do that, you're not going to drink. If it's put in your drink, then there is the aha moment. It's not right. Cali, you know good and well everybody ain't microdosing GHB.
No, that's not what I'm. But just because he's trying to get some GHB does not mean that it's for everybody. What I'm saying is this: is it possible that he was drugging these people without their consent? Yes. It's also possible that some of these people are not telling the truth, and it's a mix of people that were getting high with him willingly, and some of these people may have never even met him. Like it's like a mix. It's like allegations coming from everywhere. It's just a cluster of stuff. And that's why a lot of these things have not been included in his indictment. Because I think that the people that are prosecuting him are like, look, if we put this stuff in here, he's gonna walk because we can't prove a lot of this stuff.
I mean, when the Southern District of New York shoots, they don't often miss.
That's what I'm saying. And a lot of these allegations are not part of that case.
Maybe they felt their case was strong enough with what they had.
Or maybe they felt like they couldn't prove these things.
Maybe. Thank you so much for coming up, Cali. I appreciate it. As always, Cali has been a supporter of the channel since day one, actually.
I love Mim. You're like my Wendy Williams.
Cali was around when we were doing mistress content.
Yeah, I almost called, but then I remembered I wasn't technically a mistress. So
when you find out you got a background.
So a straight shooter. Pow pow. And
you're up next. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for being patient, Pete. How do you feel?
Hey, Mims, how you doing, sweetheart? Oh, this is such a treat. My first time getting on. I love you and love your content. Hey, straight shooters, how you doing? Thank you, Cali. I won't be long, straight shooters, so other people will be able to share their thoughts as well. Thank you, Mims, for putting up the link. I just wanted to make a comment and take you guys back to Cassie. When Cassie first filed her lawsuit, Diddy refused to pay off. And I think it was the following day. He was legally advised to do so, but by then it was too late. Now, with this particular case with Jay-Z, the NFL would not have been able to cut ties with regard to this current case that you're reviewing for us.
Okay.
But the NFL recently sent an apology letter to Lil Wayne saying that they because of them snubbing him, they apologized to them because they, quote unquote, who also includes Jay-Z, made the mistake of choosing Kendrick Lamar for the halftime Super Bowl show. And they were begging, the NFL was begging Lil Wayne's forgiveness. Now, just based on the Super Bowl halftime show decision, that could be an opportunity for the NFL to cut ties with Jay-Z because he was instrumental in making that decision for Kendrick Lamar. So do you think that maybe Jay-Z made arrangements with this victim to shut this case down so they wouldn't have a reason to Another reason to cut ties with him?
I don't know. I mean, so here's the thing. There were people who did not like the performance.
Right.
However, the performance was the most watched. So when you get into the money business aspect of it, do you care if somebody loves or hates it as long as they watch? Technically, no. Jay-Z had his hand in this Super Bowl thing, and although people were angry, more people watched than any other Super Bowl performance. I was telling somebody today, for celebrity, love you or hate you, it's inconsequential. Indifference is the kiss of death. If people did not watch Kendrick's performance, then I think that there might be something to what you're saying. It might be, the NFL might be, Jay-Z might be on the way out. But because more people watched than Michael Jackson, he's probably going to stay. Because it's all about money. You sell, the NFL isn't just that big. I mean, the day isn't just that big just because people love football. For the NFL and for whatever channel gets it or whatever network gets it, that's their moneymaker. So they can charge whatever they wanted for those commercials and things like that. And then because more people watch, the next year they're able to charge more. So I think there's more of a business aspect to it. They sent that letter to what's his name, which was surprising to me, but
Lil Wayne, yeah.
It was surprising to me, but technically, I mean, they could book him next year, and if his numbers are less than Kendrick Lamar, again, it's something that's inconsequential.
Oh, okay, because I thought that there could have been a possibility that this is what initiated this settlement. Well, they're not calling it a settlement. They're calling it, what is it, withdrawal with prejudice or something like that. Because, why all of a sudden? You know what I'm saying?
Somebody's talking about the fire alarm. Technically, I'm not in my own house.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Straight shooters. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks for calling in.
Of course. My pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy Valentine's Day. LB, you're up.
Hi. How are you doing, Mims?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing well. I want to say, first of all, as far as the Super Bowl most watched, Kendrick Lamar being the most watched, I think in all fairness, we have to say that people were already watching the Super Bowl. So, whether or not, and this is just not a diss to Kendrick Lamar, because I thought his performance was awesome. And I'm not even a hip hop head like that, but I think it's unfair to say that, it's the most watched, so it had to be successful. People were already tuning in. So there's that. But
really, really quickly. So as crazy as this sounds, there are times when more people tune in to the artist. So I think it was like Rihanna. She had like 2 million more viewers. I think it was Rihanna. Don't misquote me. But she had like more viewers than the Super Bowl. So it is something to be said to outpace Michael Jackson in numbers. More people may not be watching the football game, but they will click on for the performer. So that's why it's a big deal that he topped those numbers.
Yeah, you're right about that. And that is, anyway. So as far as this Diddy and the Sean Carter case is going, I don't know if you have watched Choke No Jokes videos or his interviews that he's done.
I can't watch everybody, so no, I don't really watch him. Tell me what's happening.
Okay, so Choke No Joke, I guess he's somebody in hip hop. I just kind of came across his one of his interviews.
No, I know him. I mean, I don't know him, but he was I think he was like a photographer for people like Diddy and Jay-Z and stuff like that. Like, I think you guys can put it in the chat if I'm wrong.
I don't really know what he was. I just came across an interview, but he said kind of like what I was thinking, which is he didn't kind of believe that Jay-Z would do something like rape a child, but maybe have quote unquote consensual sex with someone who's underage, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, we'll, like Foxy Brown, for instance. Yeah, they slept together, but I did not grape her. Right. And so I think when Jaguar Wright says that Jay-Z is worse because he's not as messy as P. Diddy, I think there's something to be said there. Like, I did kind of think maybe this is kind of a reach to say that he participated with Puffy with other people watching.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that Jay-Z is innocent. If that makes sense. Like this kind of...
You don't feel like it's his MO, is what you're saying?
I don't feel like this is his MO.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that he's probably just as bad as Puffy, but not as sloppy as Puffy.
I can agree with that. I don't think he's as sloppy as Puffy.
Right. And so, and to the person who was saying something about all the drugs, the first person that you talked to, we have to remember that the baby oil had drugs in it. So if you're rubbing this on people and it's getting into their system, yeah, you meant for people to become unconscious so that you can, do what you have your way with them. So yes, there are people who probably like to have fun and like to party that way. Of course, there are always going to be hangers on who just throw their names in a pot who had nothing to do with it. But even if he raped one person, he's still guilty of something. And it's not like his ex-bodyguard and other people have not come out and said that there were bottles that were drugged and that were specifically for like the ladies and whatever, so
hold on really, really quickly. I just read in a lawsuit that they said that, I can't remember if it was the lawsuit against Ariel Mitchell Kidd and Courtney Burgess or the lawsuit against NBC. They are alleging that GHB cannot absorb into the skin. It can't be done. It can't be topical. So I wanted to, a while back when that stuff came out, I wanted to get with a chemist, but I just never did. I don't know. I don't know anymore, but I think they're saying that you cannot, it's not absorbed in the skin. So there could not be an instance where you could mix it with baby oil and get somebody high.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. So what would be his reason for doing it? Maybe he thought it could.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can go with Ariel Mitchell Kidd saying that initially, because I think that's where it actually started. But if, just on the flip side, maybe he's just freak nasty and he uses multiple baby oil with multiple partners each time he has a freak off multiple times a week. So he keeps it on deck. I don't know. I think that they'll have to come out, like the Southern District of New York will have to come out with a statement saying our chemists say that it can absorb into the skin. So I didn't want to stop you, but I wanted to point that out. That was in one of the lawsuits very recently.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I just think that Jay-Z is guilty, maybe not necessarily of this, but he is guilty of something. I just feel like this is not his MO per se. We all have heard the rumors of him and Foxy Brown, and then supposedly the little boy, I can't remember whatever the guy's name is, that's supposed to be his son. His mother supposedly was underage, even though it was said that she lied about her age. I heard that he was picking her up from school, so you knew she was in school. And then people may not want to believe this, but Beyonce was underage when they met and got together. So I feel like he has a different type of MO. And
I want to do y'all's favorite song, but people like to sue. The words of LB are not necessarily those thoughts or words of the Make It Make Sense brand. Okay, continue, LB.
Okay, this is allegedly.
We'll me and the straight shooters will be in a lawsuit, and I'm gonna say, LB, come to the front. We together.
but let me go so everybody else can have their say. But thank you for your time, and keep up the good work. I love your work.
All right, thank you so much, LB. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Same to you. Happy Valentine's Day, straight shooters.
All right, bye. Karen, you're up next. What's up, Karen? Oh, we can't hear you. You got to unmute yourself. Karen, we can't hear you. You got to unmute yourself.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Hey, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. I want to try and make this quick. The first call, I kid you not, I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Because there was so much that she had said that I was like, oh God, come on, please wake up. Because of the fact that one, my way of saying this is that not this many people can come out with similar stories, not knowing each other, and none of it be true. So is everybody telling the whole truth? No. But is everybody lying? No.
Mm-hmm.
And then for her to say that, that this couldn't happen. Well, when you look at Weinstein and, all them other people, yes, it can happen. And I keep saying, and I keep putting it on the live chat, that you wait, if Diddy does go to court and he is found guilty, don't be surprised, y'all, if Rump don't pardon him so that his tapes won't be exposed.
Let me just be honest, Karen. I'm tired. I'm tired. It's been almost like a full. Has it been a year?
Yeah.
It was 2023 that this started, right? And we're in 2025. There's been so many ups and downs and twists and turns.
And that's why I am praying that they do this trial like they did OJ and make it where it's publicized, as opposed to having court reporters in the, people in the courtroom drawing little sketches and what. No, put this on TV, just like they did OJ. I have to admit, I might have to go to some kind of rehab center after the verdict come out, because I know I'm going to get all of my snacks, all of my libation, and I'm going to be glued to the TV, just like I was for OJ. But I honestly believe that some of this mess is true. As bad as it is, some of this mess is true. Because if it wasn't for mess like this, you wouldn't have TV shows like Criminal Minds, or what is it, the show in New York where they take it from the headlines and make TV shows out of this.
They're saying that it can't be televised because it's a federal trial. Federals don't do cameras, so we'll have. I thought about going to the trial, but I was told for my own personal safety, it would not be smart.
No, but I do want to quickly give you credit, because of the fact that I'm not really big on these type of, podcasts, but I do give you credit because I have checked you out and you do the work. You're one of the few people that I honestly believe you do the work.
So if they come after me, you got my back? You know how to fight?
Hey, I got your back. I got your bail money.
We might
we'll be in the cell together. Because of the fact that you do your work. There's most of these podcasts, honestly, like I'd be like, how do they be able to put that mess out and not be sued or it not be taken down? I mean, like, how many times have they killed off a celebrity and that person is just walking and talking and breathing like the rest of us?
I don't put anything past anybody now, to be honest with you. I have seen a lot. I have heard a lot on the back end. Y'all don't know half of the shit that I have heard, and I have to come up here all the time and talk and make sure that I don't regurgitate shit that's not supposed to be out there. So when I say I'm tired, I look at people different now. And the last lady who was speaking, she was describing somebody's MO. You definitely can be somebody who is extremely wealthy, who has a certain proclivity for certain things. We can go as far as to say that there are some people who really do want kids. There are people who do want people who are next to comatose while they are sleeping with them. I just saw a nurse. She had on some booty shorts and she was twerking on the older people in the nursing home that she was working with. There are people who have kinks. The thing is, if you are a very rich person, oftentimes you can get your kinks more fulfilled than, say, the average person. And I would be remiss if I did not say that I believe a lot of the victims, and I believe that a lot of the victims were fearful to come forward. Very, very powerful person. And from what I've seen, Diddy's MO, just based on these lawsuits, is very gangster.
And here's the sick thing. Here's the sick thing about him is that I believe it was done to him. You know, like for instance, he didn't turn out this way because he woke up one morning and said that this is what he was going to do. No, I believe that this mess. This mess has been going on since the Roaring '30s. I mean, there's been, what is it, directors' couches. You know, Clyde Davis. I believe a lot of the stuff started as far as this generation, the Diddys and the Ushers started with Clyde Davis. But before Clyde Davis, there were other producers and directors and whatnot. Can you imagine how many people that, like, let's say, Josephine Baker would have had to sleep with, you know, or a Diane Curl or Eartha Kitt would have to have slept with to get to where they were? You know, and not only just them, you know, I'm just using them because, you know, it's Black History Month and I'm Black, they Black, but even Elizabeth Taylor. And then, you know, there was, you know, a lot of the guys who, like, what was that one dude? God, everybody in Hollywood, white guy who everybody wanted, you know, thought that he was straight, and come to find out for years that he had always been gay, but they used to always, back then it wasn't acceptable. So
yeah, we know that people were doing all kinds of shit in the 20s.
Yeah, so I'm like you. Nothing surprises me anymore. And then on top of it, come on, look at the trash that we got in the White House.
Oh, now you're about to get it started. Karen, Karen, thank you so much for coming up. You about to have them.
How many women has he gone through? Heck, he even said that he would do his daughter.
Oh, Jesus. Karen, thank you so much for coming up on this Valentine's Day. You're about to have these people. Jesus. Okay, thank you, Karen. I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you for all that you do. Thank you, straight shooters, for being straight shooters.
But yeah, I can't ask nothing more than y'all be straight shooters when you come up. All right, thank you.
But don't let nothing surprise you no more, because, you know, and my grandmother used to say, you know, there's nothing new up under the sun. This mess has been going on since biblical days. You know, if you look into the Bibles, you know, David had Bathsheba's husband killed so he could have her.
Yeah,
you know,
I was in Catholic school and I wanted my quote to be, you got to use what you got to get what you want.
You know, David's son, David's son raped David's daughter. You know, so this has been going on since biblical days, since before Jesus was walking. It ain't nothing new, just a different day.
All right, Kim. Well, thank you so much for coming up. You're always welcome to come up, but I got a big.
Yeah, I gotta go. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day, Karen.
Happy Black History Month, better yet.
That too. I need to start doing my Black History Month moments. Jim, you're up. And then it's Keita Bug, Show, and Brin Cap. You got to unmute yourself, Jim.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to talk about several topics. So, in regards to this,
Jim is coming up ready and prepared.
No, no. For this list, this case, I do think that Jay-Z got really irritated, and he, like, his law team made sure to get this case dismissed and came up with the facts. So he got public support, and he also got, like, corporations also behind him as well when NFL didn't, like, drop him as one of the ambassadors. So he was ready, prepared, and he had the public side where he showed the evidence and made sure that lady looked like a fool or that young lady looked like a fool.
Are you talking about
So
Dano?
yes,
Okay.
just when they released it, like the facts, like how would you be able to travel 13 hours like that quickly just to go to uh, a award show that you were not invited to, things of that nature. So she kind of lost her kind of support of being a victim, and then with this, it's just a cherry on the top. But what I don't want to happen is people conflate this situation with the overall Diddy situations because he has way more cases. We've heard rumors about him, even if before the Cassie situation happened, we've heard about what was going on. Even with Carisha, it was like weird. Why are you having this lady on an allowance? Why is she just being overly sexual for no reason? Everything around it, it was very sexually weird, and it was like that sexual undertone about she's kind of like his side woman and a trophy person while he has others on the side. So that kind of that sexual deviance is kind of was like an undertone for him. But when kind of these evidence of and with you think about like the Fabulous video where he's asking him to party and all this stuff, and all the other guys are hip hop. You think they're thugs, gangster guys, but they're not. They feel uncomfortable and they're not saying anything, and they're doing that in public. So imagine behind the scenes, kind of the level of intimidation that can happen with somebody who doesn't have that street exterior, right? Of
Yeah.
that nature and that power dynamics over them. And then I've also heard and I'm not in like the hip hop industry at all, but I've been in New York, and other people that I've interacted with also all have commentary on Diddy, kind of like the clubs he would be at. Some of the strippers were like, "Oh, do not." They will tell other strippers like, "Do not go to his parties." There was like always an undertone of kind of like Diddy is not something to play with. Like there, he's like a freak on another level that may not have been publicized. So when people come out with these stories, it just provides additional proof. But you have to have a kind of that maybe 20% of this is not true, but there's another 80 of these stories that people feel more confident of coming out and sharing their true story.
Are you do you conscribe sorry, this clase azul has taken me out. Do you feel like the people who are suing are being truthful? Do you believe the victims, or where do you stand there?
Yeah, so I think is kind of a mixed bag, right? I think some people feel confident and that they have a kind of like the power of numbers, right? So they feel more comfortable with sharing their story. Because if you hear about the story about the Indian guy, like I don't think he would feel comfortable to come out. He had it come out before this, but because other men are coming out, he probably feels more comfortable to share his story as an Indian man who was trying to get into the industry as well as a model.
So you do believe that the majority of the victims are telling the truth?
Yes, I do think that majority are telling the truth, but I also think that there are going to be people who see the money and think that they can add to it, right? There's always going to be people who are trying to see the situation, see if they can leverage it for themselves.
So where I stand on that, because I've been following all of this basically since like day one, I feel like when somebody actually files a lawsuit, it gives them a little bit more legitimacy. If you have somebody who's just going around like YouTube channel to YouTube channel without ever filing a lawsuit or giving a lot of stories or stories that aren't even theirs to tell, then I feel like those specifically are in question to me. Right off the bat, if you aren't willing to, press charges criminally or file civilly, I feel like you might be a grifter.
Well, the case that was just dismissed was a legitimate case, right?
Legitimate
But
case.
but she clearly wasn't telling the truth.
I'm conflicted there. I had my own reservations. Again, I try to amplify the voices of victims. After that interview, like I said earlier, I had reservations. After the televised interview, I was like, I feel like now that we're in a cluster. Do I put anything past Diddy specifically? No. But when her father came out and said, I don't recall, and that's legal jargon, I was like, we just entered a whole new era. First, we had the Lamishas and stuff like that. And I mean, I get heat from everywhere. So I'm at the point where I really I cannot care. I get heat from people who feel like I'm part of the problem. I'm trying to, take a black man down, specifically with Diddy. Then I get people who are victims who tell me that I shouldn't cast dispersions on Busby, even when I feel like Busby is effing up. And then I get it from everywhere. I don't know. I do feel like this is not a good look for Busby, the fact that this case was dismissed after he came out and said very specifically that they were going to fight till the end.
Yeah. And the other point I wanted to make was in regards to was it like a few months ago where it was like Nicki Minaj, Ray J going back and forth on Instagram, and it was like a jokey type of interview live, but it was like undertones of like serious comments. Nicki didn't really say per se that she knew anything. She was like, allegedly, from what I've heard, from what the victims are saying. And then Ray J was like, yeah, but I don't want to, things are happening to people's butts. I can't understand that. And then he was like going off back and forth on that. I did.
Butts are being taken.
Yeah, but I was thinking about Nicki and when she was with Dirty Money, when she had like a few songs with Diddy, and she did that one song with Cassie, and I was just wondering, like, she just separated herself, but it was like not a clear explanation as to what was the fallout about, or like why they stopped partnering with each other. And she's been very vocal with Jay-Z kind of now, saying basically he robbed her with the title deal. But she hasn't said anything about the legal situation or why she separated herself from Diddy. So I just that was like a point where I was like, I wonder what she actually knows or was aware of. And she still kept in contact with Cassie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she was like with him for like a hot second, or he was trying to do something and managing her. That was around the time that she actually did a song with Cassie, I think called The Boys, right?
Right, but she was doing songs with him though. When she was with Young Money though.
I think Diddy was trying to like manage her. I don't think she ever actually signed to Bad Boy, but who knows? She got the hell away from him.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering why, because she hasn't really. I haven't heard her do an interview or like say like F Diddy.
Wait till he goes to jail. But thank you so much, Jim.
I wanted to also one more thing is in regards to the Kendrick. I don't like that people are trying to compare it to the Michael Jackson numbers, because his halftime was in the 90s, and people didn't really have TVs or tablets. Like right now, people have way more ways to access the halftime show to do a numbers count. Like I was watching it on the TV and I was looking at it on my phone to like rewind, to go back, things of that nature, like because they had NFL live streaming of that.
Let's see. Michael Jackson Super Bowl. Let me see. Michael Jackson's was 133.3 million. And Drake's was 133.4. I'm sorry, Kendrick's was 133.4. I mean, that's a good point, but the numbers don't lie. If the numbers have increased, we can't fault somebody because there are more ways to watch now, right? That's just like we have to, like after Napster and all the songs were now digital,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to sell CDs. So they're going to have to value it in today's language and today's money. So I can't fault him because there's more ways to watch. At the end of the day, if you watched on 2 devices, you still count as 2 times. Right?
Yeah. I'm just saying the equivalency though. Like, I don't think we should be making an equivalency. Like, Michael Jackson did that in the 90s, and that was a record. And Kendrick was able to reach his numbers, and that's also a record. I think the comparison should be with maybe Usher or Rihanna, like something in the last 10 years versus 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago.
I mean, things are going to change.
Yeah.
I just, that would be like saying that nobody can ever have a diamond album because they didn't actually have 10 million pure album sales. And it's like, no, you can technically still have an album in today's metrics, right? Just a thought. I don't know. I get what you're saying, though. People probably don't want it compared to Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson is such like an iconic figure, and people who watched it probably remember the moment, just like they remember the moment of Whitney Houston doing the national anthem.
Right.
But thank you so much, Jim. I'm sorry. I just have like
thanks. Bye.
in the background. Thank you, and definitely come back up. Happy
No worries.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye, Keita. You're up.
Happy Valentine's Day, baby daddy. Hey.
Valentine's Day. How's it going?
Pretty good. I won't take up much more of your time. I first say, when it comes to Diddy, I would like to be, when they go to court, if I was one of the defense lawyers or the prosecutor, what I would do is when they do jury selection, I would play like his music in the background. And if to see who's like bopping to his music, okay, you gotta go. Like if you get any people that's in like any of his fans, y'all gotta go. Like we need people in here that's gonna be serious and really look at the facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, the scary part about it is once you become somebody's favorite, you can be doing some devious stuff and they'll be like, well, he's my favorite, so he didn't do it. Like I had a family member that was he was like he was a basketball star. He was everybody in the family's favorite. But when I came and said, hey, he did such and such to me, they was like, oh, he couldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but he did, And it's like if my mom and other people was fighting, it just was back and forth. But I was just like, if it can happen within your family, that if somebody's your favorite, if they're the favorite of the person, no matter what they do, a lot of people can overlook it. And I think that's the reason why Diddy got away with it a lot, because of the fame and success. And I also think when you think about Diddy, a lot of times when you hear about him drugging people, I think why he did it was because if I'm a woman and I'm getting ready to have sex with Diddy, and he's like, but then when he pulls his pants down, I'm just like,
care that his mouth can't close. Like,
yeah, even I'm just saying I wouldn't do it, but I'm just saying in general, I think the reason why you petty for that.
I'm sorry. The
reason why he did it was because if you think about it, most of the men that were doing this stuff, like what they call it, what's that one ugly man where they said his genital looked like he was like deformed or whatever. Like if you think about most of the men that did that, Harvey Weinstein, remember? Like
oh wait, a woman did. I remember she was like a very pretty lady, and she did say that. Okay, yeah.
Because I think like probably the reason why Diddy was drugging people was to take control, but it's like he didn't want nobody making fun of him. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're unconscious, you're not gonna see what he really has, and you're not gonna make fun of him and take that power away from him of being Diddy, this high celebrity. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I'm thinking about. Like
small is basically what you're saying.
Pretty much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that's the reason why he did it, was because if everybody was talking about Diddy, like even when I was a kid, even R. Kelly as a kid, I would hear stories even as a kid about stuff that he was doing. But he got away with it because he was, celebrity and everybody loved him. But one main thing about Diddy is I would like to hear about, because some of these cases I don't think are going to win, but there may be a few, but I think small percentage of them are going to win. But I would really love to hear about what the FBI found in that house. What all they come up, what all evidence, those videos, what, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that can help with some of the cases, but as of right now.
Keita, but they did. I think they have like 8 or 9 tapes in their possession. Diddy's defense to that was those are all consensual. encounter.
what they see on those videos? That's what I would love to see.
They said that they can't talk about all of it. A lot of it's redacted. But in terms of Cassie, they said it looked like she was enjoying herself.
That's crazy. Like, but my thing is, I'm almost done. When it comes to Diddy, it's like also too, so many people are defending him. But if you watch that video of what he did to Cassie, that was out in public. Anybody could have walked out and saw that. If he's doing that and knowing that it was filmed, what makes you think he wouldn't do anything? In the hidden, and it's everybody can't be lying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the sad. But and then one more thing. When it comes to the Super Bowl, can we stop lying and saying Lil Wayne? Can we stop lying and say that he would have went up there and he would not have embarrassed the whole state of Louisiana? Like, can we stop acting like that man would have went out there and did an amazing show? Can we stop lying?
Peter, what have you been thinking?
I ain't been watching all these videos and everybody was like, Lil Wayne, and I'm just like, dog, can you stop lying? The man has had seizures because he won't stop drinking lean. Like, he'll seize and then drink lean. Can we stop lying and say that man would have went out there and bodied the Super Bowl? He would have went out there and embarrassed the whole damn music industry. Can we stop? Like,
I didn't show the video. He probably would have sang to a backtrack. I do think that Lil Wayne had a lot of hits. I think that Drake has a lot of fans, and a lot of those fans tie in with Lil Wayne fans. So there was gonna be some backlash. Like,
Lil Wayne
F with Nas. Not everybody's gonna F with Jay-Z, but Jay-Z has his fan base. Nas has his fan base. You talk about who won that war. Whoever is fans of whomever is gonna say that whoever they like won. Same thing here. It's just now there's a lot more voices. Back in the day when it was Tupac and Biggie, we didn't have social media. We had conversations in barbershops and maybe a radio station, or Wendy Williams would come on and clown one or the other. But, that was really it. Now everybody has access to Twitter and Instagram, and they want you to know that they just had a poop or they're constipated or so it's different conversations. So I was expecting there to be a lot of backlash.
Yeah, because Wayne would have went out there with the music playing in the background. He would have been leaning like a heroin addict. They would have been dancing around him, trying to prop him up. It would have been a hot mess. Like, it just, can we, because the whole NFL, the thing that everybody is missing and what I saw as far as the performance was the dummy that's in office was there. So I took it as Kendrick was saying us a message, but he was also letting what's the name know, hey, we know this is a game plan. We not here, and I'm gonna let you know I'm one of the ones that's gonna stand up and fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to play. It was so many messages, but I think everybody was just mad because it wasn't Lil Wayne, and they're not a big fan of Kendrick. But I'm just like, give that man props. He rapped through the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? He stayed, he stayed through it. He did look thick in them jeans. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but he was also, to me, he was like, it kind of reminded me of that movie. What's that?
Keita, that's a married man.
Everybody told me to come out with them thick thighs. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, he was kind of standing up to the establishment, letting you know, hey, y'all need to pay attention. They're playing games with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, but overall, like I said, Kendrick did amazing. But as far as Diddy is concerned, it's like, I do see him getting time. That's gross. That's why he was drugging people. Because who wants that on top of them? Like, not saying that it was right, but who wants Diddy is just ill.
Oh, and I found out that those bell bottoms actually sold out. Those bell bottoms, they said are Celine, and they sold out. Like,
I bet, because his thighs was looking good in them jeans. Like, listen, I know you married, but I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? But no, I think all in all, it's just, this world is crazy, and sometimes I have to just stop and just take a break. And I do enjoy your videos. I like that you do a mixture of funny and serious, because sometimes it's just like we need a break. But yeah. His mouth is gross. I can't do it. Like, that's. But anyways, happy Valentine's Day. I won't take up more of your time. You guys have a good night.
All right, have a good one, Keita. Show you're up. Show. What just happened? Show. This link is just for Show. I don't know what happened. Show waited patiently, and it got dropped. So Show, you can come back up, and I'll definitely have you as next. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, man. I'm kind of opposite of the last caller. There was a caller who called up about 6 calls ago, and I agree with that lady when she was talking about how maybe I think there's a lot of people that are over exaggerating these Diddy parties and what happened to them and being drugged and all this. Because how can you prove that you were drugged with something called GHB unless you go to the hospital the next day and get a drug test? You can go out and get drunk. You could drink vodka, Ciroc, whatever it is that you drink and get pissy drunk. And 2, 3 weeks later, a month later, a year later, you can tell people that you were drugged. But what proof do you have? You can say that somebody put uh cocaine, crack, heroin, GHB in your drink. They put it in the baby oil. But how can you prove that if you don't go to the hospital and get a toxicology report? So I just feel like anybody can say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Diddy is in the hot seat. That's what we call a hot seat, where you can say anything. And the people who want it to be true is going to take it and run with it. They're not gonna say, hold on, let's see some proof. Can you show us some actual proof? They just gonna say, yep, he did it because we saw a video, him and his girlfriend, he was kicking his girlfriend, he pushed his girlfriend on the ground, so that means he's guilty of everything. When that is not necessarily true. You could be a domestic abuser, you could be in a toxic relationship with somebody and be rough with them, but you can be a complete angel to somebody else. And so I don't jump on the bandwagon and just say he's guilty of everything across the board, you know? And you got people in the comments, you look at all social media, YouTube, people, he did it. I know he did it when none of them was there, none of us was there. We just all speculating and just casting stones based off of what you think about a person, not based off of what you know. And I still trying to understand what is it about us, this whole society that just love to tear a black man down. We don't see no other people in this world, on this whole planet that do that to their own people except us. We the first to believe anything bad that a black person did without giving them the benefit of the doubt or trying to look at something objectively. So I
Okay.
just want and hold on, I want to say this too. Congratulations to Jay-Z and Diddy for this last victory they just got. I think there's gonna be some more cases that's gonna get chopped down the same way.
Okay, so let me start here. I don't think that all sexual assault victims go. I pulled up the statistic. Only 58 to 59% actually go and get the R word kits. As somebody who has never, I'm not like a sexual assault victim, so I don't know what goes through their mind. Do I think that all of these people are lying? No. But I mean, if that's your feelings, and I respect it. I just think that until you're in the situation, you don't know what you would do, right? Like, you don't expect. I mean, and let's start with the men. If you're at a party and you're trying to get in the business, you would not expect the music mogul to drug you. And now after it happens, most men do not go to the doctor and say, "Hey, did he just destroy?"
What-
You know what I mean?
But
Like,
then how do you prove that you were drugged if you didn't go to the doctor and get checked? That's what I'm trying to understand. How can you prove that you were drugged and not just drunk?
that's what the trial is going to be. There are people who win their civil litigation similar to Cassie, who had
Yeah, but civil is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Civil is just 51%. It just means that people think that it's more likely that it happened. If you go to somebody's house and you slip and you fall, you can go to a civil court and blame that person for you slipping and falling when it could have been your fault. So civil does not necessarily mean that it's actually that person's fault or that they did something to you. Almost anybody can win a civil case. And as you see, not to
well, I mean,
cut you off, but
anybody can't just
as
win
you
a case. Like,
well, but all right, so look, anybody can file a civil case too
anyone can file.
without
Absolutely.
having to put their name out there. You see what just happened with Jay-Z and this last accuser. Everybody knew from the beginning that she was lying through her teeth and she was hiding behind the name Jane Doe. They don't get no kind of punishment or repercussions from that. Anybody can drag you, post about you all on social media, all on the news, and then when they find out you did it, they don't even put it on the news the same way, and nobody apologizes.
You mean find out that you didn't do it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it was obvious that whoever it was lying. Tony Busby, come on, let's talk about this clown. This guy put out a 1-800 number. By the second day, he said he had 3,000 Diddy victims that called his line. 3,000. Come on now. Anybody with common sense know that had to be fake. And then he said out of the 3,000, he picked 150 and they vetted them all. How can you vet 150 people? You can't even vet 150 people in a year. How you gonna say you vetted 150 victims in 2 weeks? But look what our people did. We said, oh, he must have did it. There's 100 and something victims out there. They not even calling them accusers. They already got it in their mind that these people are victims. They're saying, like the last caller, that's why Diddy drugged him. He did it because of this. How do you know, lady? Did you see him put drugs in somebody's champagne? Did you see him put drugs in somebody's liquor? If you didn't, you can't say that he did because you don't know. That's all I'm saying.
I will say this. I agree with you that just having rumors out there about somebody is not enough. But we can look to what we did physically see. We physically saw him assault this woman. And prior to the assault, he said it was just a money grab. So when you establish a pattern of behavior, that's really on Diddy. The fact that Diddy has gone to numerous people who he allegedly violated and tried to coerce them to change the story. And we do have proof of that actually in the indictment. You can establish a pattern of behavior. If you are innocent, why are you going to people who you don't know have been contacted or not saying, okay, just remember that this was consensual and you wanted it and it was fun? Typically, that sounds like a person's behavior who is trying to coerce a potential witness against testifying against them. Those are things that we have seen. We can at least agree there, right?
Well, if that's true, this is stuff
no,
that
hold
we
on.
heard.
Hold on, just really quickly.
Go ahead.
We can agree at the very least that initially he said it was a money grab and he had not done any of the things in the lawsuit against Cassie. Then the tape got released and we physically saw it, and then he had to backtrack. That establishes a pattern of behavior if we're talking factual things.
Well, now, was he talking about the Cassie lawsuit or the Little Rod lawsuit? Because from what I remember, when he left that statement on the Instagram and all that, I thought that was in response to the Little Rod lawsuit. I don't know if it was the Cassie lawsuit because he paid.
No. I'm telling you specifically. His attorney came out and said that Cassie's lawsuit was a money grab and everything in there was a lie. And then he had to come out and publicly apologize, which was his one public apology once the tape hit. So all I'm saying is I can understand conceptually what you're saying, but when we do have things that are factual and he's saying those are lies, and then we see it with our own eyes, then you have to admit that there's something there, right?
Okay,
just the open conversation between me and you. There's no right or wrong answers, but we have seen some facts specifically with Diddy where he straight up lied.
Well, I didn't see nothing about Diddy lying. I saw a videotape though of Diddy assaulting his ex, and that's inexcusable. That domestic violence is inexcusable. A man shouldn't put his hands on a woman, and a woman shouldn't put his hands in a man. There's no defense
I agree with
for
that.
that.
Nobody should be hitting nobody.
But I also don't know what happened before that tape. It's easy to take a video that where you see somebody, you only see part of the interaction. We don't know. From what I heard, word on the street is that there was something happened in that room, and he got hit in the head with something. Do I know that to be a fact? No, I wasn't there. This is just what I heard from somebody that's close to that situation. So I'm gonna say with the tape, what we saw in that tape was bad, but I also don't know what happened before that. You know what I mean? I don't know what was in that bag. I don't know if there was money, stolen jewels, clothes.
So real quick, just to play devil's advocate, right? If Diddy got hit in the head and Cassie left, if he was scared of Cassie because he got hit in the head, why would he be dragging her back to the room?
No, I didn't say scared. I didn't say scared.
You said he was assaulted, right? So if he got assaulted and you are even de-escalating the situation, or I think I know where the whole money in the bag thing started. I don't believe it, but let's just say that there was money in the bag. After the person who assaulted you is gone and you have now gotten the bag back, why would you be dragging that person to the room?
It's a control thing, and it's called getting your lick back. I'm not defending that. I'm just saying that there are instances where a man puts his hands on a woman and it doesn't look good, but we didn't see what the woman did for that to happen. I'm not, and like I said, I'm not saying violence is good or domestic violence is okay. I'm just saying that there's times where men or even women put their hands on their significant other as a response to something that the other person did. And then it's not victim blaming. I'm just saying we don't know. What if when the trial start, you find out that something else was going on, something else happened, and you like, oh, that's why so-and-so did that. So all I'm saying is I'd rather keep an open mind and be fair before I just start condemning people, because even I know what it's like to be accused of something that I didn't do. So I think that people should try to have a balanced mind and don't just say, oh, the person is guilty. And I know he's been drugging people because we keep hearing it, and he's been doing this for years because we keep hearing it. You got to actually see it and have some evidence before you can say that a person is guilty. That's all I'm saying. But I appreciate watching your show, man, and keep doing your thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate people who have different opinions. And I always say on this channel, you're welcome to your opinion. And there's no right or wrong answers. We're just the court of public opinion. So you're more than welcome to come up. We don't agree, but that's okay.
That's good.
We don't agree, but that's okay.
But at least you open-minded to at least listen to another point of view, man. And that's cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Sho. Yeah, you can come up anytime.
Take it easy.
All right. We got Brin, Cap, and Camille. Brin, what's up?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, this is your Dominican Republic buddy.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Going good. So in honor of Whitney Houston's and her album that was released 40 years ago today, that's why I got that avatar up.
Whitney Houston album was 40 years.
Her debut album 40 years ago today.
Is this her first album?
Yeah, her first album. Yep, her debut.
So how old would Whitney have been? Like in her 60s?
Whitney would be 62 if she had lived this year.
Okay. All right. Well, how do you feel about this situation, Brin?
Well, a couple of things. One, this is just for everybody. We live in a land that believes that you're innocent until proven guilty, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll start there. Two, I do have know some people who are celebrities.
You know Diddy?
Huh? What?
I said, Diddy?
Now I don't know Diddy. Now no.
Okay.
I know people who know him allegedly. So I'm gonna have to say allegedly. They're celebrities, and a lot of things that they've told me personally, which has been said in some of these lawsuits, definitely go hand in hand. Now, what I do agree with the previous caller is that, you know, we do need to make sure that we get all the facts and things of that nature, because at the end of the day, somebody's life is at hand, right? When they go to the court system. Now, if you ask my opinion, that nigga guilty, but that's my opinion. Okay. Third of all, I figured that Jay-Z lawsuit was going to get kicked out, because this is just my opinion. I found it hard to believe a 13-year-old would get all that access to get back there during those MTV Video Music Awards. 13 years old dealing with some grown men. That's interesting. Unless you have some handlers. That's all I'm gonna say on that situation. But does that mean that Jay-Z or Diddy not guilty of other things? Absolutely not. It just might be just this one thing that they may not be guilty of, or there was not enough evidence to corroborate them even going to trial. We have to always think about it like that. And then, you know, the last thing I was going to say is, you know, I enjoyed Kendrick Lamar's performance, and to the caller before show, would even Lil Wayne had even made it to the stage. I mean, let's just be real. Would he even made it to the stage?
Okay, so I am a Lil Wayne fan. I did not agree that he had to perform in New Orleans just because he's the biggest artist out of New Orleans. He still performs. Do I think it would have been what we were expecting from Lil Wayne 2007, 2008? No.
Oh, definitely not.
Is Lil Wayne still like... Lil Wayne has hits. Lil Wayne has a catalog. They would have put him up there with the backtrack and stuff like that, and a whole bunch of people on stage like they do for every artist now. But do I think he would have put the performance on that Kendrick Lamar did? No. I think Kendrick Lamar's performance I would categorize that as more like artistry.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if you never sat through an Erykah Badu performance and listened to her actually talk and spit shit, or Jill Scott and stuff like that, that stuff can get pretty deep. Wait, my phone, my computer's about to die. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna bring up Camille. You guys talk for a minute. I gotta go get my charger from upstairs. Camille, you're up.
I just became a moderator.
You and Camille are now the host of this show. Don't F it up, y'all. If I come back and y'all done messed up the brand, I'm gonna come. Okay, I'll be right back.
No, you're not moderating me though.
Y'all are hosting the show.
Okay.
Well, Camille, you got the floor.
Okay, I'm waiting for Mims to come back, to be honest, but I definitely what urged me to jump on StreamYard was show. And it was a lot of victim blaming and too much advocating for Diddy. Oh, let me turn my TV down.
So Camille, why are you doing that? I didn't agree with show, but this is what I'm just going to give you a new perspective on, because I hear this a lot. There's a certain, and Mims, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a certain feeling I hear among black men that some black men are getting a hard look, a hard knock everywhere where they turn.
Right, tearing down a black man.
We are incarcerated at higher rates than anybody else.
Yeah. So, you know, and that they're not, and that I'm a black man too, so don't get me wrong, that we're not, you know, getting access to the best, or nobody's really looking after us. So from that standpoint, I understand. I get what
But that is not applicable to Diddy.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I do.
So I mean, obviously, from like I was saying, Mims, show, and you know, I try. For some reason, these call-in shows really get me like fired up and mad. And I even turned it off, and then my son went in the other room, so I'm like, let me turn this mess back on. And then I hear show, and it's just too much advocating for Diddy. He is not, you know, and even like Wayne and a lot of these rappers don't even put themselves in the same category with the rest of us or / black men, because they have money. And to a degree, you know, they aren't the same as, as us regular people, but and it seems like, the one with the Whitney thing, you may be of a certain age. I can't, oh, Brin cap. Um, so we have, I love you, ma'ams. I wanted to tell you too before you stepped away that I'm definitely a tea sipper. Like I know tea, but I'm definitely like a straight shooter too.
You
So,
mean like lovely tea?
yeah, yeah, lovely
I
tea.
like
And
lovely
I know
tea.
you give her props and stuff, and
Mhm.
I heard her mention you as well. But yeah, I rock with you guys hard.
Okay, well, thank you.
Um, but and I like how you let all opinions, no matter how ridiculous, air out. But with the Diddy thing, first of, I mean, I was trying to like at the okay, let me start. I'm very fragmented, but how you started saying, oh, you don't know what Cassie did. There's nothing that a woman can do, and I will tell you because I have been through domestic violence, and I personally even went to the hospital and lied, like, oh, I fell down the stairs, and they're looking like, yeah, right. So that's one of my past lives, and luckily, the Lord brought me through. But there is nothing a small woman can do to where it makes it okay for a man to quote unquote get his lick back. That's really some bitch stuff. And that's BS show. And if you're living like that, you need to get right with God. Um and Diddy is on a whole nother level of disgusting. Um and what jumped into my mind, which made me even jump on StreamYard, was what about justice for Craig Mack? He's a black man. Black Rob, all of those making of the band artists that Diddy just ran over. And that's what's sad about the music industry, that a lot of the black producers and record people do black artists the same way that the white artists did way back in the day, like take the publishing and everything else, so those people can't even eat or feed their families. And Black Rob died, he was living, I'm living, pretty decently. I work and take care of myself, but he was sick with like some sort of like, I don't know, kidney failure, I don't know. But it was really freaking sad, to be a hit maker. And so think about those black men too, because
You're talking about
Diddy
people who Diddy has kind of like left to the
did
wayside.
did wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Um, yeah. So I mean, it's not about just taking down a black man in this case, because we see what he did to Cassie, and it wasn't just Cassie. Obviously, I feel like the Kim thing was controversial. But like you said, man, or I mean, in your videos, there's like 30 something people that were super close to his orbit that are no longer with us, and luckily, I'll be sure's fine ass still is here. You know. So we can't
Now
just
y'all
cut it
see
with.
why. Hold really
Huh?
quick. When I did that video, now you see why I was very specific and said there's no proof that Diddy did anything, but these are people who were in his orbit and who are no longer with us. I know Camille watches my videos because Camille just spit that out the same way that I did. And now people understand why. When I say I want to remain under the radar, I want to give you all the information, and I'm not going to make myself liable for the lawsuit, but you got what I was saying in that video.
1,000%. I mean, I use critical thinking, and I was around during the shiny suit era and everything like that, So I've seen, and heard even before the internet and social media, like of what type of person this is. And I haven't been fucking with Diddy for, dealing with him for a long time. So, but thanks to the bad actors like Misa and the person that I no longer mess with because she had Mim's name in her mouth, and a lot of these other people, I was in her corner despite, some people do need medication, especially if you've been through a lot. But she crossed the line, and that she cannot come back from when it comes to me. Because you're above board, and you rock with integrity. So that made me see her in a whole different way. Um, but even Busby, I'm looking at him real sideways. He might even be a part of the plot to get Diddy free. And now Trump is, in office. So if he's released, he'll be shunned. But I won't even be surprised at this point. So at least he's getting sobered up and getting some form of justice for all of the years. And you also covered about, sorry, now I'm jumping to when he was beating beating the girl up on the college campus. So this isn't new behavior, or these aren't fresh. I mean, people are finally getting brave enough to come out, but if like hundreds of people are saying the similar story, then just critical thinking, regardless of if he's a black man or if he's famous or if he's somehow one of your faves with no talent, you know, don't make all these excuses for somebody.
But can I say something? There are situations that celebrities get into where they can't keep it in their pants, and then some people do lie on them. That is a
Of
thing.
course, of
One
course.
What I like to do on this channel is, although I amplify the voices of victims, I don't mind calling out some things. And one thing was with Drake. There was a woman who Drake was romantically involved with one time. She started texting him, "I'm pregnant." So Drake said, "Okay, sure, have the baby and we'll get the paternity test." Drake wanted nothing else to do with her. He slept with her one time. This woman took that and then filed a suit. And then all Drake had to do to just prove she refused, there was never a baby, there was never a pregnancy test, there was never any of those things. And so I say that to say that there are some circumstances where people just lie. The reason that I choose to still read every court case is because A, it is public record. B, there are people who are risking their life to come forward in these lawsuits. What people don't see on the background is people are very, very scared. People have been hurt. People have been violated, and the allegations deserve to be heard. Everybody's not going to have an R word kit. Everybody's not going to have 10 people who saw them leave the house with their clothes torn and all that. However, when you have somebody like I think he was like a white guy who said that his anus was ripped open and he did have to go have actual corrective surgery on it. What I feel happens is the people who do not believe that all these people are victims don't even care, the ones that come forward with proof. So now we're at a standstill. We're at a standoff because you don't believe the ones who don't have proof to back up their claims. And now you also don't believe the ones who are coming with proof. Most people, most of the straight shooters believed Cassie, but there was a lot of people who did not believe anything she said. They just thought she was a girlfriend who was, mad that she was no longer with him, until the video came out and they saw her getting her ass beat and then drugged back in the room to get beat some more. Then you have to go through all these lists of videos and shit where this girl was in a blanket and he's taunting her after he just beat her. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's easier for me now because I don't get moved by other people's. I don't get moved by other people's opinions. I feel like you are free to have your opinion. And even in this case, if somebody feels like Jay-Z was inappropriately sued and it's dismissed, that's the fact. The case is dismissed. The person chose to do it. Now, what happened in the background, I don't know. I just bring you guys the cases and you guys decide how you feel about it. I did not feel great about the dad saying that he did not remember picking her up. And I got a lot of flack from people who fervently believe that with all of those things that came out, that she was still a Jay-Z victim. And that's okay.
I'm sure there are some Jay-Z victims. Even the one friend, the light-skinned lady that was pregnant and then she wound up somehow being unalived. I mean, these billionaires do not get to that status by, going to church every Sunday and, being good people. But that's alleged.
I'm sorry. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I forgot who she was best friends. I think, best friends with, the girl. Some supposed Jay-Z mistress that was in a picture.
I do this with Kathy White.
I guess so.
Kathy White.
She was friends with
Claudia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just wound up passing, rest in peace. And even Aaliyah, like all the stuff that she probably went through. I mean, there's photographic evidence of Jay-Z being kind of, but let's just wait for the real victims. That was real suspect. And I remember when you had print the video out and Busby was You were really disgusted with Busby, and I was like, "Oof, I could feel your energy."
I got a lot of trouble. I got into a lot of trouble with a lot of people about being honest about how I felt about Busby. There are multiple types of lawyers. For me, Busby feels like an attorney who is more about quantity than quality. Sorry,
And in a case like this, I feel like you need to be airtight. And he called his own self into credibility and all the additional witnesses, and Diddy still apparently has money for big time lawyers. So he made his job even harder, I feel like, by putting that mess out.
Yeah, I hear you. This was not supposed to be my Valentine's Day with y'all.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day, man.
This was not supposed to be my Valentine's Day with y'all. Just you can stay up, Camille. Coco says, I don't trust Tony Busby. He claims to be a champion for victims, but all smiles with 47 felon who is a proven SA predator. I hope all real victims seek better representation. Happy Valentine's Day, memes. Happy Valentine's Day, Coco. What's up, Alan? Alan is like one of my best friends in real life. Thank you. He's probably gonna try to make me give him that $10 back. Mustard on the beat, showing support. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Mustard on the beat, how?
Now, it said where Jaguar right. Did she?
Groove Dwayne says both men and women can be drunk. How do we know the women didn't take advantage of the man being drunk or high? I worked in a nightclub and plenty of women got caught spiking men and women's drinks. I think that, yes, it is true. Cardi B, I think, admitted to spiking men's drinks and getting them to the hotel and robbing them. In this situation, Grove, I'm only going based on what the alleged victim is saying. And if you have multiple alleged victims who have come forward, it presents a pattern. And once there's an MO, it's, for me personally, once I see the MO, it's hard for me to unsee it. Diddy saying that it was a money grab with Cassie. Then we had 5 more people come forward. And to be honest with you, they give Tyrone Blackburn a hard time, but a lot of people were not taking the other victims' cases. Even though Wigdor won with Cassie within a day, Wigdor was not accepting other cases. The only other case they accepted was the Jane Doe who got unmasked and she ended up being a Caucasian lady. That was the D&G girl. So it's hard because you have this window, an opportunity to finally tell your story. I want people who do not believe the victims to get new information from this channel. So you might have somebody who was scared of Diddy, scared that they weren't going to be in the business, got violated by him, and then thought they had no repercussions because the statute of limitations have run out. These civil lawsuits presented ability for them to come forward. And then the next one was the ADA. So they really only have up until February. So we had from November to February of this year for people to come forward, specifically in that area.
For sex victims or whatever. I mean,
specifically who were in the New York area. That's not for all states. Maybe in other states might do it, but for the time being, it's a very limited amount of people. And even those people who did have proof or text messages or a video came forward, lawyers did not want to take the case. That's why Tyrone Blackburn got so many of the cases initially. They thought he was just chasing people. And in actuality, a lot of victims did not have any other recourse. So, I mean, there's so many twists and turns. Do I think that we've reached the point where people know that they can grab money from this situation? Yes. I believe that Lamisha really does believe that she was a Diddy victim, but there's never a court case and there was never any police reports that surfaced. So it's hard to say that a victim is not telling the truth just because they don't have the evidentiary support that you might like to see in order to believe them. Because just like we saw today, Cassie, at the very least, was a victim of domestic violence, and people still did not believe that Cassie was innocent, quote unquote, in that situation. So it's like a no-win. You can put the facts out and people are going to believe what they want to believe. That's why I say anybody can come up here and present how they feel. Because I'm not on the jury. I don't even know if I want to be near the courtroom. I don't.
With some shades on.
Yeah, I don't know that would be a courtroom that I would feel comfortable in, but I definitely, it's my opinion that I do believe most of the victims that come forward, if there are things that are, if it's a story where, what did I get in trouble for? I got in trouble for, it was like a young white boy who was at the party in the Hamptons, and he said that Diddy, he was over by the porta potties, and Diddy sexually assaulted him by the porta potties. And I got into a lot of trouble with, people in my orbit because they were like, you're casting dispersions. And I'm like, well, MOs are established, patterns are established. Diddy doesn't typically, based on all of these lawsuits, just go up and grab somebody in the crotch where people can see it, especially a man. Now, all of the things about Diddy's proclivities with men are usually behind multiple layers of security and closed doors. Could he have been high and decided to just do this at his house? Yes, but would he have risked normal house guests that were not going to be at the freak off seeing him assault a young white boy? I don't know. You have the court case and we'll see it out. But I did get in a lot of trouble for people because they were like, you're casting dispersions. And I'm like, I just try to give a fair analysis.
Right, of what someone's been shown to typically do. I mean, and this person, I mean, Diddy's been in the spotlight for 30 years, and now that we established a pattern, and that was kind of like not really with the pattern. But I do want to throw one more thing in, because Show did get me hot. I mean, I think one of the first callers sounded so. I mean, if you want to defend Diddy, okay. I mean, yeah, he was there in the 90s. I just, maybe because I was personally assaulted by someone who I loved and trusted, maybe I'm just extra angry, but I do feel like it's time for his comeuppance. But also too, even Jonathan Odie, mentioned, and then you talk about whatever they call the black version of Illuminati, I mean, of course, then people want to be like, oh no, but you probably know too, because you're becoming more famous, Mims. Like the more you start to rise, there's gonna be offers, and I think there are secret societies, within super rich and actors and music industry people. And I do think, there's opportunities for them to give up cheeks so that they can gain, notoriety. And I think that's part of why, Diddy is, probably such a deviant, a sexual deviant.
I mean, we all there can be groupies, male and female, Meek. There can be groupies. There can be people who are willing participants. I've always said that whatever Diddy's sexual proclivities are his business. If he wants to do cartwheels into 1,000 dildos or whatever what was it called? The banger, the sex banger 1,000, whatever he wants to do. I feel like that's his business. And I don't feel like he should be nailed to the cross for that. I've maintained since the beginning, if the accusations are true about him drugging and sexually assaulting people, then he needs to be hung up from his balls. But whatever he chooses to do with consenting adults is his business. And I'm sure there's a lot of consensual sex he has. The only thing in questions are the times where people feel that he violated them and took their ability to say no. I've said that since the beginning. We all know who and what Diddy was. It's been out for years. People didn't know he couldn't close his mouth. But other than that, whatever you choose to do is whatever you choose to do. But it's the taking of somebody's ability to say no. And there's been too many cases of people saying that is the case. And now getting what?
That picture?
Oh. I don't think I feel like I'm the first person that ever pointed out, from 88 to 2005, he couldn't close his mouth. That's just
I think you are. And yeah, it just became more and more apparent that this is really good for him, because some of those previous pictures, he had some real snarls.
Yeah, there's something going on. Brin Cap says Mims is right. People are risking their lives to come forward on stuff allegedly. I cannot stress this enough. people are actually scared. People think that these lawsuits are just, easy to do and you might just get some money. No. Cassie, scared, like literally scared out of her mind.
And I understand that.
Even if you were allegedly sexually assaulted by somebody one time and you see the network of people around, from security, from the fixer, like, what's that woman? The man with the
Mims.
Hi, Mims.
Hey, how's it going? Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
But I don't know if this is a conversation. Yeah, I don't know if this is a conversation.
No, he's just going in and out of his rooms. He likes your opening.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry. He just likes to be in it.
Sexy Lad 74. I'm working too. Thank you for the super
chat. Go on in your room.
Lady D, thank you for the super sticker.
Go ahead.
The beard is bearded, Mims. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Nona Preston. Hi, Mims. Love you. Your mind and content. Keep up your black excellent. Diddy done. Also, if you did what you did to someone you love, guilty. Oh, meaning like somebody that you love. I got it, Sonny. And I'm sorry, Nona. And Sonny, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. And Grove Dwayne says, my stance is you must prove it. And even then, the Innocence Project has shown the courts get it wrong as well. Tons of men serving 20 years and later is proven innocent is not talked about enough. You absolutely have a point. We do see that a growing number of men are exonerated because new evidence comes out that their DNA was never involved. So I do feel like Dwayne you have a very valid point. There are men who were in jail and imprisoned, or even who was that old disgusting woman? Emmett Till's accuser.
Right, that's where my mind went.
Yeah, I mean there are cases like that, and like I said, as a black man, we are incarcerated at a higher percentage rate than any other group. So I mean, those are things that are not talked about enough. But I will say, in Diddy's case, I feel like there's an MO, and that's why more than likely, I do believe the victims.
That is extremely valid, especially like with sports figures, guys with money. It's extremely valid, and that's why there's a lot of hate on women if they do make a false accusation of R wording, and especially the Emmett Till thing. Like, that'll still irk my spirit, and women that even do something that's remotely along those lines towards any man or making some sort of weird accusation, you just really shouldn't play like that. But this is not the same conversation. It's not, at least not for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it's. I feel like we can have all these conversations where you have like the golden boy, just won the Super Bowl. That dude gets it right. Married his college, like the woman he was with in college. Lived below his means. Has a all-female team that's getting him the biggest contract in history or whatever. All those things. But at the same time, you have the other guy who was a football player who was murdering people and then going on the field the next day. I think that a lot of times people feel like these rich people can't do it. It was Aaron Hernandez, or the guy who all these women were swooning over, and he was literally R-wording homeless women. Like, his kink was homeless women. You know what I mean? So you just can't say on its face that a celebrity who could get anybody wouldn't do it. And I think that for the most part, we've moved in the direction that people see that now, and they're not as enamored with celebrity. Anyway, this was not supposed to be our Valentine's Day. Thank you guys for coming and having a really serious conversation. I kind of feel like we should end on something that is a little bit lighter because it is Valentine's Day.
Okay.
You can stay up, Camille, if you want. It's about to get real foolish.
Happy Valentine's Day, Mims.
You can stay up if you want. This is gonna be foolish.
I know. It better not be that new favorite song of yours.
No. It's not gonna be my new favorite song. It's gonna be some more Valentine's appropriate. I saw this and I couldn't help but like crack up. Just to give us a little something light. it's gonna be real foolish.
I work.
What do you do?
I work for a nail salon.
Okay, you work for a nail salon. You have any kids?
No, ma'am.
No kids. Do you believe in zodiac signs?
Nah.
Okay. So we got London, North Carolina, 24. She works. No kids. What kind of man you looking for, girl?
Tall man, dread-headed.
Tall man and dread-headed. Okay. Anything else?
No, he got to be tall.
Should he look a certain way? Well, you said tall and dreadhead, correct?
Yes.
So if he didn't have dreads, you wouldn't want them? You wouldn't want him?
No.
How tall does he have to be?
6 foot.
Have you ever dated a man that was tall with dreads?
No.
And you will only date that man that's tall with dreads?
Yes.
She got a type.
Hypothetical question. Let's say a man that's tall with dreads doesn't want to date you back. You're okay with never dating another man?
Yeah.
She want what she want.
I'm okay with it.
Oh, okay. So be tall, at least how much?
6 foot.
6 foot and have dreads. Those that's non-negotiable.
Yes.
And if you are not tall, and if no man comes forward that is over 6 foot and has dreads and wants to date her back, she is okay with never dating again.
Yeah.
Orlando says
why?
Because that's how I am.
So you will go your whole life never having a relationship with another man, all because he's not over 6 feet and has dreads?
Yes. She done told you, Kendra. Yes.
Should he make a certain amount of money?
Yes.
How much?
$1 million.
So I heard you correctly. He has to be over 6 feet, have dreads, and make $1 million.
24, so you know.
And that's the only man.
I'm all about that money.
Okay.
Get what I'm saying?
Get what she's saying.
She's trolling.
No, she's not.
Because she's not giving the aesthetic.
Can you find me a man?
What?
Yeah, here he is. I'm about to get him for you.
This is like a Kevin Samuels type of thing.
This is the dreads. That's the 1 million right there. It says 1 million. So on a serious note, don't make those requirements in order to share life with someone, regardless of how a man, how tall he is, how long his dreads are, how much money he has in the bank. What you're seeking is a person who has good character that's going to love you on your best and your worst days.
Stupid ass.
She called me a stupid ass bitch. I mean, maybe I deserved it. I was trying. I don't know if anybody's ever called me a stupid ass bitch before.
On your show.
I realized it didn't hurt my feelings. What you do for a living, boo?
I work.
She called her a stupid ass bitch.
There's so many different things to say about that.
I love that woman. You know I love people who are unapologetic.
I need 20,000 in my account.
She said she wanted somebody here to make $1 million. She said you got to make $1 million. Anyway, I thought we would end on something foolish. Happy Valentine's Day, y'all. Oh Lord, here we go. They want. Do I even have it up? Okay.
Mustard on a beat, hoe.
Now.
nitty gritty. You already know your girl is pretty. You already know gotta rep my city. You already know your girl get city. I don't need no pity. I'm just me. You already know I'm a G. So some girl turn to a freak. I'ma make it on top. I'ma just a chocolate drop. You already know I ain't never gonna stop. You already know I'm a chocolate shop. You already know what I'm gonna do. You already know gotta prove it to you. You already know I'ma hold my ground. You already know I'ma put it down. Wow, 100. You already know I'm stunning. You already know what's good. You already know what's up.
Anyway, y'all have a good night. Happy Valentine's Day. I appreciate you guys spending it with me and my bottle. I do not know that I will be drinking this on live anymore. Because all it is. Have a good night. And if you have drunk like me, I only had 2 drinks, but this shit is strong. Be safe. Thank you, Camille, and everybody else who came up. And I hope that my channel continues to be a safe space for everybody's opinion. So y'all have a good night.